Hello everyone, I'm Alana, and welcome back to our channel. New Mexico and Arizona used to be one state, so they have the same history, scenery, and size. But the fact that their population growth paths diverged after 1950 is a strange sign. This difference makes me wonder why the land of enchantment doesn't fascinate people as much as Arizona does. But today, I am going to tell pros of living in New Mexico. Let's start with the landscape of New Mexico. Imagine waking up to the sight of the majestic Sandia Mountains bathed in the warm glow of the morning sun, or exploring the otherworldly dunes of White Sands National Park. The northern middle part of New Mexico is in the Rocky Mountain Zone, from the eastern border to the First Mountain Range, which goes from the Sangre de Cristos to the Guadalupe Mountains in the south. The plains are in the west. The rest of the state is on the Intermountain Plains. New Mexico has many beautiful natural sites that live up to its name, the Land of Enchantment, and has some of the most beautiful scenery in the world. It feels like you're in a movie sometimes. And for the outdoor enthusiast, New Mexico is a playground of endless possibilities. Hike through the pine-scented trails of the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, ski down the powdery slopes of Taos, or kayak the thrilling rapids of the Rio Grande. From the rugged beauty of the Chihuahuan Desert to Carlsbad Caverns National Park, Valles Caldera National Preserve, Lincoln National Forest, Bandelier National Monument, and Petroglyph National Monument. In New Mexico, the great outdoors is not just a place, it's a way of life. Next is the weather is lovely. Yes, the weather in New Mexico is pretty normal. It's usually warm and dry in the mid-50s, and the state gets about 310 sunny days a year on average. The weather is warm in the summer, with highs in the mid-80s. The warmest it gets in the winter is about 40 degrees across the whole state. If you go to the mountains in New Mexico in the winter, be ready for snow. New Mexico is one of the biggest tax havens in the U.S. It has a lot of tax breaks for businesses and people who want to invest. It's not hard to start your own business in New Mexico, and they don't tax your income too much. On top of that, this means there should be a lot of jobs. But keep in mind that this depends on where you live and the kind of work you want. One reason why film companies like to set up here is that there is no transfer tax, estate tax, or sales tax. In addition to making good movies in a relaxed setting, they also get a bonus by paying little or no tax. A huge number of movies and TV shows are being shot here. As I told you, the low tax rates make this a great place to be. The TV show Breaking Bad was shot in New Mexico, and that's one of my favorites. They did make a lot of money and didn't have to pay as much into the state. The state should have been able to gain from this, but it is now getting extra money from tourists, right? It's cheap to live in the desert with a blue sky. When you look at things like transportation, energy, and other costs, New Mexico is the fifth most cheap state. The state's cost of living index is 94 to 100 is average, which is almost 6% less than the national average. The average income in the United States is $63,214 a year, while the average income in New Mexico is $58,722. And the median family income is usually lower, and so are home costs. The average home costs in New Mexico is $351,900. That's a lot less than the national average of $395,100. The farther away you live from Albuquerque and Santa Fe, the cheaper the homes will be. And low prices on gas. The average price of gas in New Mexico is $3.252 per gallon. The state's cost of living is appealing, especially to people who want to get away from the high prices of living in California and Maryland. Next thing is job prospects. One of the big tech companies that has come down to settle down here is Intel, Amazon, Honeywell, Apple, and Facebook. In healthcare system, Sunbridge Healthcare Corp employs about 38,300 people. A lot of people are coming to New Mexico just to work in healthcare systems. And second biggest employer, the Citizens Bank employs about 22,000 people. New Mexico has a pretty average quality of life score, but its healthcare is pretty cheap. In fact, Forbes says that people in New Mexico pay the fifth lowest healthcare fees in the country, at an average of $4,496 per year. At the same time, New Mexico has the ninth lowest healthcare costs in the country, at about $8,505 per person. Even though things are getting harder, people can count their mental health as a blessing. The average adult in the state was named as one of the least likely to say their mental health needs were not being met, ranking fourth best in this area. Another great thing about living here is being able to pay college tuition. Move.org says that for people who live in New Mexico, in-state education is the second most cheap in the country. Residents of the state can easily get to well-known public universities like the University of New Mexico, New Mexico State University, and Eastern New Mexico University. New Mexico has a lot of good energy businesses. It makes the third most crude oil and the ninth most natural gas in the United States. It has always been a key state for trade and moving people. You can be sure to find work as a truck driver. New Mexico is a melting pot of Native American, Hispanic, Latino, and Anglo-European communities, each adding its unique flavor to the state's cultural stew. The air in Santa Fe is thick with the scent of roasting chilies, and the streets of Albuquerque are alive with the sounds of mariachi. For Hispanics, living in New Mexico is like living in Mexico, but much better. It's a mix of Mexican culture with American culture. A lot of Hispanic people live in what you could call Little Mexico. It also has a lot of white people living there and a few Native American people. People in this state can live their lives. The only bad thing about it is that the economy isn't getting better. It might be because of the laid-back attitude of the Mexican community, where people love to drink cocktails and take it easy. The food here tastes great. Mexican food that gets better over time will be served to you. There is a burrito in everyone's mouth. People eating burritos will be the first thing you see when you wake up. There isn't any good pizza, but there is the best Mexican food in the United States. New Mexico has a past that goes back before the United States was even a country. As the oldest state capital, Santa Fe shows how rich the state's history is. Its sites tells tales of ancient civilizations, Spanish conquests, and the Wild West. Places like Chaco Canyon and the Gila Cliff Dwellings offer a window into the past, allowing you to walk in the footsteps of the ancestral Pueblones. The state's history is not just preserved in museums, but alive in its pueblos and missions, where centuries-old traditions continue to thrive. If you like farming, or you want to be a cowboy, New Mexico is the best place to be. Then grow cattle, because people who do that make a lot of money in this state. Here, being a rancher is the best job in the world. The dry, warm weather makes it a great place to raise cattle. They let the horses feed on wheat in the winter and grass in the summer, since the grass and wheat grown in the land. Vermejo Park Ranch is New Mexico's biggest deeded ranch, with 588,000 acres. That's about 3/4 the size of Rhode Island. The ranch is spread out over 6 biogeographic life zones, with elevations ranging from 6,400 to 12,960. Compared to more densely populated states, New Mexico offers a relief from the hustle and bustle of heavy traffic. While Albuquerque and Santa Fe can experience rush hour slowdowns, the overall ease of commuting and lower traffic congestion means less time on the road and more time enjoying what this beautiful state has to offer. New Mexico is one of them. It is a hilly state and is in the Four Corners area with Arizona, Utah, and Colorado. State of Texas is to the east-southeast of New Mexico. Oklahoma is to the northeast, and the Mexican states of Chihuahua and Sonora are to the south and southwest, respectively. The capital is Santa Fe, and the biggest city is Albuquerque, which is also the center of a metropolitan area. There are just over 2.2 million people living in New Mexico. Let's start. Last Pro is more of a change in how you live your life. This is likely one of the best places to live in if you want to slow down and enjoy being outside. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time.